Blackwood Mansion, nestled on the shores of Lake Michigan in Chicago, was today the epicenter of a grand celebration. It was the wedding of Olivia Blackwood and Liam Hamilton. Dignitaries from the city's elite society were present, their attire exuding an air of opulence. Liam, the only son of Arthur Hamilton, was about to embark on a new chapter of his life. Yet, even amidst this joyous occasion, a subtle unease gnawed at him. His father, Arthur Hamilton, who had kept his true identity hidden until now, had arrived at the event in his most ordinary attire. Arthur Hamilton, a man in his 70s, walked slowly towards the wedding altar. He wore an old yet clean gray suit. The marks of age were evident on his face, but his eyes held a deep serenity and a sharp glint of intelligence. He stood quietly in a corner, as if he were not a part of this lavish affair, but merely an ordinary spectator. His presence seemed an incongruous sight in this glittering environment. Olivia Blackwood, Liam's fiancée, was adorned in a dazzling designer gown. Her beauty was undeniable, but her face also bore an arrogance that overshadowed her charm. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Blackwood, were immensely proud of their family heritage and social standing. They considered themselves among Chicago's most influential families. Olivia's gaze fell upon Arthur Hamilton. Her brows furrowed. She whispered something to her mother. Mrs. Blackwood looked at Arthur and offered a disdainful smile. She gestured to her husband. Emily Blackwood, known as a successful real estate mogul, approached Arthur. A forced smile played on his lips. "Ah, Mr. Hamilton, you've come." He spoke as if Arthur's presence was unexpected and unwelcome. Arthur calmly replied, "Yes, it's my son's wedding, why wouldn't I?" His voice held a natural firmness that somewhat diminished Mr. Blackwood's artificial smile. Olivia came closer and said, "Dad, who is this? Some distant relative of Liam's, I presume?" Her words carried clear disdain and mockery. Liam, who had been observing everything from a distance, quickly stepped forward. His face had turned red. "Olivia, this is my father." His voice was filled with clear annoyance and frustration. Olivia's eyes widened. "Your father? But—" She gestured towards Arthur's attire. "I thought he might be—" She couldn't finish her sentence, but her implication was clear. Arthur was not aristocratic enough for this society. Mrs. Blackwood chuckled. "Oh dear, don't you know? Mr. Hamilton leads a very simple life. He supposedly has a small shipping business around Lake Michigan." Her words carried a mocking tone that was clearly audible to everyone. Mr. Blackwood added, Yes, I've heard, but he doesn't have much contact with our family. We are a bit different, you see." He smiled at Arthur as if pitying him, mocking his social standing. Liam's face flushed with shame. He burned inside, watching his father being humiliated. "Dad, let's go inside," he said, pulling Arthur's hand, trying to remove him from the uncomfortable situation. But Arthur didn't move. He looked calmly at Olivia. His eyes held a deep gaze. "My attire may not be suitable for your aristocracy, my dear, but a person's worth cannot be judged by their clothes. True wealth lies in the heart, not in a bank account." His voice held an unwavering resolve that silenced Olivia's arrogance, if only for a moment. Olivia quickly composed herself and said, Of course, but one should wear appropriate attire for such events, shouldn't they? What will people think? We have a social standing to maintain." Mrs. Blackwood nodded in agreement. "You're right, dear. It's our responsibility to uphold our honor." Arthur said nothing more. He looked at Liam and smiled faintly. That smile held a deep sorrow, but even more, an indomitable determination. He slowly walked out of the mansion, leaving behind the disdain of the Blackwood family and Liam's helpless gaze. Liam had wanted to stop his father, but Olivia's family had surrounded him. He could only watch his father leave from a distance. He felt that not only his father had been humiliated today, but he too had been disgraced. The sting of this humiliation created a deep wound in his heart. He did not know that this insult would give birth to a new story, the story of an invisible emperor's retribution of fate. A new storm was about to brew in Chicago's elite society. a storm no one had foreseen. After the wedding, when Liam returned to his Chicago apartment, his mind was agitated. The humiliation inflicted upon his father throughout the day gnawed at him. He knew his father was an honest and hardworking man, but he himself was not very aware of his true identity. Arthur Hamilton had always shunned publicity, busy with his own work. Liam went to his father's house and saw Arthur calmly sitting in his library, looking at an old map. There was no sign of anger or sadness on his face. As if nothing had happened, Liam sat beside his father. "Dad, what happened today? I am deeply ashamed." His voice trembled. Arthur looked up from the map at Liam. His eyes held a deep affection. "There's nothing to be ashamed of, son. People believe what they see. And I wanted you to find your own path, not to live in the shadow of my identity. But the way they humiliated you..." Liam couldn't say more. Arthur smiled faintly. "Humiliation? Yes, perhaps. But sometimes, humiliation shows the way to new paths." He remained silent for a moment, then took a deep breath and said, "Liam, the time has come to tell you some truths." Liam looked at his father in surprise. Arthur stood up and opened a secret drawer. From it, he took out some papers. "I run a shipping business around Lake Michigan. But you might not know that this business is not limited to Lake Michigan. It's a vast empire called Hamilton Global Enterprise." Liam was stunned with disbelief. "An empire?" "Yes, an empire." Arthur handed a file to Liam. "Look at this file." Liam opened the file and saw various international company names, share details, bank statements, a vast financial picture. "What are these, Dad?" "These are part of my empire. Hamilton Global Enterprise doesn't just transport goods. It has invested in various industries worldwide. Real estate, textiles, agriculture, technology, even space research. There's no sector where Hamilton Global Enterprise hasn't invested. The Blackwood family, whom they are so proud of, their Blackwood real estate, is just a small part of my company." Arthur's voice held a calm firmness. Liam couldn't believe it. His father, whom he knew as an ordinary businessman, was such a big industrialist. "But why, Dad? Why did you keep all this a secret for so long?" "I wanted you to find true love, Liam. A life partner who would value you as a person, not for your wealth or prestige. I wanted you to achieve something on your own merit, without relying on my identity." Arthur said, "What Olivia and her family did disappointed me. They only saw money and social status. They didn't understand human worth." Anger and frustration brewed in Liam's mind. "So what happens now, Dad?" Arthur looked Liam in the eye. "Now we will show them what human worth is. We will show them what the consequences of arrogance and greed can be." His voice held a cold tone of retribution. "You want revenge?" Liam was a little hesitant. "Not revenge, son. Justice." Arthur said, "I don't want to destroy them. I want them to realize their mistakes. I want them to know what true wealth is." Arthur formulated a well-thought-out plan. He explained to Liam that this plan was not just about dismantling the Blackwood family's financial empire, but also about destroying their social standing and crushing their arrogance. Liam was initially hesitant, but remembering the humiliation inflicted upon his father, he agreed. "We will find every weakness of theirs, Liam. We will expose every lie, every deception to the public." Arthur said, "But on this path, you must be by my side." Liam firmly said, "I am with you, Dad." That night was the night of a new beginning. An invisible emperor broke his silence and awoke, not to take revenge for his humiliation, but to establish justice. Liam stood by his father, ready for a new battle, a battle not just of money and power, but of principles and ideals. A new chapter began in the heart of Chicago. Arthur Hamilton and Liam embarked on implementing their plan. Under Arthur's guidance, Liam began to analyze the financial structure of the Blackwood family. The vast network and experienced team of Hamilton Global Enterprise proved invaluable. Every debt, every investment, every business deal of the Blackwood family was meticulously scrutinized. The first step was to acquire all of the Blackwood family's debts. Arthur, through his trusted financial advisors, secretly bought large loans taken by the Blackwood family from various banks and financial institutions in Chicago. The Blackwood family initially didn't even realize that their creditors had changed. They thought it was just a regular financial transaction. But when Arthur's representatives started demanding loan installments, they became alarmed. Mr. Blackwood wanted to meet Arthur. He thought Arthur might have come to help him with his old shipping business. But when he learned that Arthur was now their main creditor, his face turned pale. "Mr. Hamilton, what are you doing?" Mr. Blackwood asked, stunned. Arthur calmly replied, "I am merely protecting my investments, Mr. Blackwood. Your company's financial situation is not very good." Then began the process of taking over business control. The Blackwood family's main business was Blackwood Real Estate. It was their pride and primary source of income. Arthur targeted the supply chain of Blackwood Real Estate through his own real estate companies. He made agreements with their construction material suppliers so that they would supply materials to Blackwood Real Estate at a higher price or stop supplying altogether. At the same time, he contacted their main buyers and offered to supply better quality properties at lower prices. Within a few days, the projects of Blackwood Real Estate began to be disrupted. Work stalled due to lack of construction materials, and on the other hand, buyers started turning away. The company's profits rapidly declined, and its stock price began to fall. Olivia and Mrs. Blackwood, even in this situation, could not let go of their arrogance. They thought it was just a temporary problem. They continued to live lavishly at their social events, as if nothing had happened. But their financial situation was steadily deteriorating. Liam was involved in this entire process. He meticulously observed every step his father took. He saw how his father, without resorting to any violence or illegal means, was cornering a powerful family simply through intelligence and financial power. Liam's respect for his father grew even more. Arthur was not just attacking financially. He was also collecting evidence of various financial irregularities and corruption within the Blackwood family. His intelligence team was uncovering every secret transaction, every illegal deal, and every tax evasion by the Blackwood family. This evidence was extremely powerful, capable of severely damaging the Blackwood family's social standing and legal position. One day, Liam came to his father and said, "Dad, they don't understand what's happening. They are still engrossed in their arrogance." Arthur smiled faintly. "They will understand, Liam. When the ground beneath their feet gives way, they will understand. True power lies not in wealth or prestige, but in honesty and justice." The downfall of the Blackwood family had begun. They still didn't know how powerful and far-reaching the invisible force working against them was. Their arrogance had blinded them, and they couldn't hear the approaching footsteps of their destruction. This was the first blow from the invisible emperor, which shook the very foundation of their empire. The financial noose around the Blackwood family was tightening. Blackwood Real Estate was on the verge of collapse, and the value of their other investments was rapidly diminishing. The luxurious lifestyle they had so proudly maintained was now becoming a heavy burden. Yet, Olivia and her mother, Mrs. Blackwood, refused to acknowledge their impending ruin. Instead, they concocted a desperate and cruel plan to garner sympathy and extort money. Olivia announced that she was pregnant with Liam's child, which was a complete fabrication. To add drama and urgency, Mrs. Blackwood feigned a severe medical crisis, claiming that the stress of their financial woes had caused a life-threatening condition. They hoped to leverage Liam's residual sense of responsibility and public sympathy to secure a significant financial settlement, or even a bailout for their crumbling empire. Mrs. Blackwood was admitted to a prestigious private hospital in Chicago, known for its discretion and high-profile clientele. Olivia, playing the role of a distraught fiancée, appealed to the public for privacy and understanding, subtly implying that Liam was abandoning his pregnant fiancée and ailing mother-in-law. Arthur and Liam, however, were always one step ahead. Arthur had anticipated such a desperate move. His network of informants was vast, and he quickly learned of Olivia's fake pregnancy and Mrs. Blackwood's fabricated illness. This was the perfect opportunity to expose their true character to the world. Arthur, with his immense wealth, took a step that stunned even his closest advisors. He quietly initiated the acquisition of the very hospital where Mrs. Blackwood was admitted. Within days, the hospital, a symbol of elite healthcare, came under the complete control of Hamilton Global Enterprise, a subsidiary of Arthur's empire. Once the acquisition was complete, Arthur wasted no time. He dispatched his most trusted medical team to conduct a thorough, independent examination of Mrs. Blackwood. The results, as expected, confirmed that Mrs. Blackwood was perfectly healthy. Her medical crisis was nothing more than a theatrical performance. Simultaneously, a discreet investigation into Olivia's alleged pregnancy found no evidence of it. Arthur even managed to gather irrefutable evidence of Olivia's infidelity, including DNA evidence that would later prove devastating. With all the evidence in hand, Arthur orchestrated a public revelation. He called a press conference at the newly acquired hospital in Chicago, inviting major news outlets and prominent social commentators. The atmosphere was tense with anticipation. Arthur, alongside Liam, stood before the cameras, his demeanor calm and resolute.